President Trump has the power to change the equation. When we sell a load of lumber, we're competing against 3 or 4 Canadian mills on every load. And are we competing against mills, or are we competing against a government? We feel like we're competing against a government, and the reactions from the Canadian government over the last couple of months, when they start to see this pressure, they add more subsidies on, so it's not really the mills we're competing with. So until the trade measures on this side of the border have the impact necessary to reduce the amount of lumber coming in, substantially, that's what needs to happen. The president does have that, control, because the tariff, without seeing results from it, then, it's just common sense to raise it, because it's there to see results. So if there's no results, raise it. We've got 2 very modern sawmills that run 1 shift right now. And they both used to run 2 shifts, and we'd like to get them back to 2 shifts. And with the enforcement of the trade laws and with the additional tariffs, we're getting the confidence to start, making plans and hopefully eventually get back to 2 shifts. Without really much capex, we could add 50% to our production instantly. As we start to see impacts as far as a decrease in the amount of lumber coming across the border, then we'll execute our plans to increase our production, quite dramatically.
And not only that, if we can see that the tariff is going to stay long term, that would give us the extra confidence to increase production and to hire the people necessary to do it. And if they start cutting shifts in Canada rather than adding shifts, then we know, okay, then we can add it. And if they're cutting it, it's going to take. Then it's going to stick. We know it's going to last long term. But we have to see that behavior. We have to see that happen before we'll do it.
And for us, it's a direct relationship. We see activity along the border to decrease production. We're going to increase production.
Exactly.
It's instant.
Yep.
We are incredibly appreciative of the duties and the tariff. So they've leveled the playing field. Now with the additional tariff on top, we think that, that's definitely going to be important to have a real impact. And when we start to see production come down, we'll ramp up.
Yeah. Board foot for board foot. Yeah. So there's a lot of extra capacity to increase very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah. There's roughly 400 million feet that could come online very quickly in Maine.
Yeah. And what it'll take is basically all the border mills that are running 2 shifts go to 1, and then we all go to 2 shifts in Maine.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. We've reduced down to 1 shift. The Canadian border mills have maintained their 2 and 3 shift operations while we reduce in our own, selling lumber in our own market. We have to cut production, but they can maintain the same amount of production. So if we know long term we're going to be protected with the duties and tariffs, and we know the behavior is going to change, we should be producing that lumber, not the border mills.
Exactly. We would have every anticipation that President Trump and his administration would add additional tariffs on, because the intent of these trade measures is to level the playing field and to allow us to grow to our capacity. And by layering tariffs on, which is the right thing to do, President Trump has the ability to raise those tariffs. And if he doesn't see action on the other side of the border, that's exactly what should be done.